Hello and welcome back to Conquest Racing Club. Welcome back to another unboxing review video. Today we're going to take a look at my favorite brand, the Porsche. But we're going back. We're going back to the 1980s. We're going to Endurance Cup champion. We're going to a car that dominated the late 70s, early 80s, and that is the Porsche 935. This is the Kremer edition. This is the 1980 Sebring, B.Rahal, K.Nierop, and B.Garretson car. So yeah, we're going to take a look at this Porsche. I'm going to tell you what I like, what I don't like, and we're going to put it through its paces. So if you like this, stick around. Let's get to it. So this is a car. This car is actually a car that was picked out by my daughter. It's her car. And she likes to remind me of that. But, I would have picked this car up anyway. But she was attracted to it because of its colors, as you would expect. It is very, very lively livery. So, but the car that we're looking at is the 1980 Porsche 935 K3 Kremer edition. So, what's very famous about this is almost the same as the Moby Dicks that were made famous in 1979. But this is the short tail. So this is the short tail 935. It's called the flat nose edition because, as you can see, this is actually based on a 911, but the lights are gone. So they flat nosed it. It's all for aerodynamics, of course. So a nice flat nose allowed the air to travel, go up and over, and the Moby Dick, it extends right out. But I have another video on that. So yeah, let's take a look at this car very quickly. Now this car competed in 1980 Sebring, 12 hours of Sebring, and this is the car that finished 7th. In that year, in 1980, in the 12-hour Sebring, 8 out of the 10 top finishers were 935. So you can tell how dominant this car was during that period of time. So starting at the front, we get this really long, elongated nose. This is for the cooling, the intercooler, because this car runs twin turbos in the rail edition. You have 2 air intake scoops right here, and then you get the lights. So the lights are on the side here, on either side, and they look really cool in the stock car version because they're really nice and bright, and it looks really cool on the track, as you'll see as we get to it. Then we get into the hood. So, this has got the number 9 on the hood. It's got this nice rainbow colored striping all around, which was the Apple colors at that time. We got these vents right off the top of the hood here. And as we sweep up, we get to the windscreen, and this is a Dick Barbour Racing. So that was the racing team that put this car into the 12 hours Sebring. And then we get to the top, you get the Apple computer logo. So this is the traditional, very colorful Apple logo. At this time, I believe they had all those Macs floating around in all the primary colors. So it's really cool. You get the driver's names. Now, this is really odd because the driver's names are all over the car. You get B.Rahal right up here. You get B.Garretson right on the driver's door. And then you get K.Nierop right on the rear quarter panel, or the rear fenders here. It's really interesting that the driver's names are all over the car. Kind of cool. As you sweep back into this narrower section here, so almost like a teardrop or the narrow windscreen here, it's very plain. You can't see anything through that, and you go into this really small little duck spoiler right here, and it's got the Apple logos on it. So pretty simple there. What you really see is how the car goes from very narrow to extremely wide at the rear. That's from the rear fenders here. So when we turn to the driver's side, this is where the car really starts to shine. You get this really nice, rainbow colored effect all the way through to the Apple logo on the rear. You get these gorgeous wheels. Now, that's one thing I like about the 935 and some of the stock cars that I have, like the Di Tommaso and all that, is the wheels. They're so different, so unique, and it's really, really, really nice to see that on the stock cars. So down in the front here, we got the little Valvoline logo. Then we go into the front wheel here, which has got this yellow color on it. So tying into the Apple colors. As we sweep across to this really wide rear fender, you get the little front scoops here. You get the little air intakes in the back here, right here. And then we sweep into the rear wheel, which is a much larger. So it is a staggered setup. Smaller front wheel, larger rear wheel. And this is got the blue coloring on it. So the light cyan blue here. So once again, like I said, really, really nice touch with the wheels. And I believe these are like turbofan wheels, so you get the the air that will cool the brake ducts, and this acts as like a cooling. Inside, you can get to see the driver very clearly. You can see that he's got a blue and white helmet, and then some striping on his arms. Once again, he is cut off just above his waist here, and then you get some logos in the back here, and yeah, so very simple, very sleek. Very wide, so you can see from how narrow it goes to how wide it goes in the back and the rear fenders. And all this is for aerodynamics to push the car down. At the back here, we get a duck winds, like a little duck spoiler. So you see this little black duck spoiler there. And then we get to coup de grace. So the rear of this car is where you can see all the width. So you can see the 935 actually ends over here, and all this is additional aero. And it's really, really wide. You get to see the additional duck spoilers there. You get the triple Apple logo in the back here with the Garretson Enterprises. And then you get Dick Barbour Racing, which is the racing team that put this car into the 12 Hours of Sebring. You get the exhaust. I don't know if you can see the turbos here, actually. So there's the twin turbos right there that were on the exhaust right there on the exit. So pretty cool car, really nice and wide here. You get the lighting in there. And then as you sweep around to the passenger side, once again, it's very much like the driver's side, except the reversed. And you get the driver's names all over the place as per the driver's side of the vehicle. And you get to see just the roll cage from this side on the entry of the passenger window here. So nothing crazy about this car, but I just love the simplicity of it. The color and the livery on it is so iconic. It's a great car to just have in my collection. But, I really love the little small side view mirrors on these cars. They're so impractical. I don't know if you can actually see anything out of those, but they look kind of impractical to me. But other than that, that's the walkthrough of the car. Now we'll take it on the track and see what it does. All right, so we just put this car through its paces on the track. How did it do? Let's take a look. So when we look at this car, it did 5.236 seconds on our track here. So, you know, not too fast. I guess it was very smooth, fairly smooth. So there wasn't a lot of noise that came off the car. So that was kind of cool. From a dimensions and weight perspective, it's 99 grams. It's 38 millimeters in height, 134 millimeters in length. And that's length from the end of the spoiler all the way to the front lip there. So it's pretty long, a pretty long car. It's got a 71 millimeter wheelbase, and then we have the overhang. I think when you look at it from the back wheel all the way to the rear fender, there's a lot of overhang. So this makes it kind of like drifty. It likes to oversteer a lot, this car. So when you put it down on the power, it does like to kick out quite a bit. So 5.236 was the best I could do after cleaning up the tires and the track, and you're really, putting the car through its paces. I got a 5.236. So what does that put it on the leaderboard? Unfortunately, it's definitely not going to be in the top 10. But I believe where it ended up was in the 18th position. So on page 2, and it's right down here. So 18th position, so behind most of the GT3 cars, as would be expected. And it's fair. I think you can get a lot more out of this car if you actually like tune it up. But it's not a car that I would particularly like to race. Definitely a car that I love in my collection, but the details on it and everything about it is once again, just fantastic from Carrera. So one of my final thoughts on this vehicle. Take a look at that. So what are my final thoughts on this vehicle? If you like the Porsche Kremer, and I'm not saying that everybody does, there's some people, just like the Dodge Charger Daytona, there's some people that love this car, some people that don't like it at all. Me personally, I'm indifferent. I don't think it's my favorite car in the range, in the Porsche range. I do collect Porsches. That's one of the brands that I'm very, very partial to, and it's a big part of my collection. I have a lot of Porsches. But I do like the Kremer. I think it's a fantastic car. It was very unique for its time. And it showed the ingenuity in engineering. So for that, I give them 2 thumbs up. I love this particular livery in my collection. The Apple Livery was something that I really was drawn to from the moment I saw it. So it was a no-brainer to put in my collection. The question is, do you have one? What do you think about this car? Let me know in the comments. I really look forward to interacting with each and every one of you. I love this community. I love everything about slot car racing. If you like this kind of content, remember to like and subscribe. And it helps us to, produce more videos and keep motivated. Until next time, guys, let me know your thoughts about this vehicle, and, stay safe. Have fun on rails, and we'll see you next time. Take care.